Hi, it's Jameson Fink. I am part of the On the Boards Ambassador program, and I am here chatting with David Schmader. And before we start talking, I think it's paramount that we both have some wine. And David, I brought not one, not two, not three, but four bottles because I don't know what people like, and I got a little obsessive and tried to cover every base. So I've got a dry French white wine from southwestern France. It's made with the same grapes they make Armagnac out of, but it's not 80 proof. It's like a dry white wine. A refreshing rosé. I love dry rosés. A bottle of bubbly, some cava from Spain, really super dry. And then a red wine. If I drink a red wine in the summer or summerish, I like a lighter style red. And this is a Gamay. It's like a super chugger, really lightweight red wine. Very refreshing. Do any or all of those sound interesting?
They all sound interesting.
Okay.
So I have the problem of like my first, if it was just me alone with a bottle, it would be the pink one.
Okay.
But I'm really fascinated by this lighter red
Okay,
summer
let's
thing
try
you're
that.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. It's a Beaujolais producer, and it's just a super light red wine. And actually, it's slightly chilled because I think it's more refreshing that way, and it's the kind of wine that's nice that way. Like if you're at a barbecue in the summer and it's like 90 degrees and you're in front of like a big fucking thing of charcoal in your face. I mean, I just want, if I'm gonna drink a red wine, it has to be something cold. So let's give it a whirl. Cheers.
Cheers.
So what do you first sip? What do you think of this wine?
It's really nice, and everything you said is true.
Yes, about the wine. Everything else. I can't
That's not
vouch
your
for
name.
that.
You're not a.
I'm a rat fink.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
And the light, like I don't know if I would have noticed the refrigeration if you hadn't mentioned that. I would have just been like, oh, nicely chilly room temperature.
Yeah, well, I think we as a society, a nation, a world, we drink our red wines too warm. And warm red wine can be really gross. I'll put an ice cube in it. I don't have any compunction about that. If I get served if at a restaurant or at a friend's house, I mean, it's not like crazy scandal like he put an ice cube in his red wine, but I think people it surprises them. But I'd rather do that than suffer in silence.
It does. It's kind of shorthand. Ice in red wine is shorthand for hick in like popular culture.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm glad you're fighting the good fight.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm standing up for Hicks everywhere. We like to drink
Hicks.
Yeah, drink Hicks. Well, bring on the ice. Put it in a blender, whatever. So I keep fucking up. I keep saying Newark's Northwest. It's Northwest Newark's. I'm gonna get that right 100 times out of 100 from now.
It's really easy because it's NWNW.
But I keep saying that. So what are we gonna see you do at NWNW?
Well, I am a solo performer.
Okay.
And I have a history of doing kind of stage essays where the kind of driving force is a thesis statement, like an essay, where I've got something to prove, and I'm going to prove it, and my what happened on stage is directed by this thesis statement. And this is a very experimental space, a very experimental festival, and I am relinquishing the grand thesis statement and doing a small smorgasbord of individual vignettes that together will turn into a piece. So it's still just me storytelling.
Okay.
And for some subject matter, I am putting solo storytelling in my sites. There will be some kind of moving through some of the tropes that we all love and hate about solo storytelling, and hopefully effing around with that.
You can say fucking around.
Yes. Sometimes I say
now I'm
it
being
for special
gratuitous about it.
occasions.
Yeah, I'm lessening the impact.
And the space is a big thing. There's something about this space sends a very distinct message to an audience about what they're about to see. And I'm really excited to play around with that.
Does it affect, like, if you know I'm going to be performing in this kind of a space, does it color your material or how you present it?
Only in this one, with like On the Boards has a space that is just like, this is the incubator for where you will see the kind of edgiest and most kind of genre bending stuff and just the weirdest stuff. There's something about this space where if you could do something in here that would be received so differently. My shtick is always like, okay, if you're in a comedy club, they expect to be funny. They're not surprised if they're funny, and they're mad if you're not. In a performance art venue, they're exceedingly happy if you're funny, and if they don't get your jokes, they blame themselves.
Ah, interesting.
So there's this power of like on the boards is framing it, you better take it seriously, which I really, really love because and lots of performers F around with that, but it's just like a space where we've all seen such kind of challenging stuff that something about the room is a character in this small piece as well.
Do you have like a video or slides, or is it just you?
In this one, is some live camera, and there is some recordings. So, but it's always typically just me saying things, typically autobiographical, and that's kind of what I'm not doing this time.
I like that. It's me saying things. That's like a great tagline.
And that's kind of part of what this is
It's
about.
more of me saying
Yes,
things.
like, the whole thing of like, okay, an autobiographical solo storyteller, it's one person talking about himself. Like, why are the lights on? Do you need to see this person? He's only talking about himself. Anything else would be more interesting to look at than the person who's talking about himself. And I don't know if that made any sense, but these are the kind of things I'm wrangling with.
Is it like an anxiety?
There's part of that. Part of the anxiety is like even the thing of calling yourself a storyteller. I really hate this thing of
It's like calling yourself a sommelier or something.
Well, no, that's fine. Like something about storyteller, there's something that it's both self-aggrandizing and then it kind of diminishes everyone else. Where it's like I am just always on the hunt, and there's something like if you're a storyteller, you're like, do you have a life, or are you always just processing a story, or so there is a bit of anxiety involved in that. And the anxiety also of like writing these things and then delivering them. Do you act like you're not a writer and pretend that you're making it all up on the spot, or do you act like a writer who memorized it really well and can now just pretend that you're normal and act comfortable with all this? And there's quite a bit of anxiety in it.
Well, my anxiety would be like the level of candor. I mean, I was reading about some of the past things you've done. I mean, it's easy to be candid about like funny anecdotes or like triumphs, but like when you get really candid about autobiographical stuff like that, to me, and that's usually the best stuff, like the most squirm inducing or empowering, or moving, or brutally honest. But I'd really freak out if I had to do that. How do you really push the envelope on that as far as what you reveal about your life?
With me, I kind of know, I have to have experienced it well enough. There's this thing where it kind of, writing about something kind of replaces the actual memory, because you have to craft this thing, and I have to be ready to do that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, I'm ready to sum this up and feel like I have the authority and the moral authority to sum up a situation. Not be in the thick of it and like fighting for explanation just so I can get through my day. I need to explain this breakup to myself and I'll turn it into a play.
Right.
Never done that. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
So it's always.
Okay. There goes my play.
I know. I kind of want to chug a little bit and then have some pink.
Yeah.
Is this a chugging wine?
I think for red wines, yes, it is. I would say that. Of course.
Shut up, Donna.
Yeah, you could knock it back. Actually, and then I can give you some of the pink wine.
Great.
And you don't even have to rinse between.
Too late.
Yeah.
Am I drinking more than other people?
Well, it's like a progressive thing, I think.
It's getting later in the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is yummy.
Yeah. Oh, the rosé?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. I like this cool little glass cap it has on it too.
That comes with it.
Yeah, it comes with it, free of charge. And actually, all the other wines I got had screw caps too. I'm a real big proponent of easy access to wine, not needing a specialized tool.
It's very much like a public library kind of mindset.
Yes,
It has to be open and available.
Yes, it's like the library, the wine. It's open and available. Well, David, thanks for chatting. I'm trying to sag into a nice little closing thing. We can still continue to drink too, but thanks for coming by and guzzling. And you'll have to try the other two wines too. You can do that off camera though.
Yes, sir.